Welcome everyone to Unscripted Coding. Today we are going to talk about Azure OpenAI and specifically a bring your own data service. So I am super excited about testing this one, and we're going to try it out right away together. But let's talk about what this is first. If you're a little confused about Azure OpenAI, that's a fair point. OpenAI is, of course, the company behind ChatGPT, GPT-4, and others. But what a lot of people don't know is that Microsoft offers the same services, the same technology, exactly the same through Microsoft Azure. And this is really important for governments, big businesses, enterprises that have that security or privacy requirement that Microsoft can provide and OpenAI can't. There's two things that come out of it. Number one, Microsoft Azure's OpenAI service isn't available to just about anyone. I know it says public preview. Very, very misleading because you got to request access for it. And not only that, you to actually use it, you have to be an approved enterprise customer or partner. So you have to do business with Microsoft and you have to be a business yourself. That rules out a lot of hobbyists like myself. I got really lucky that I have access right now. I don't know how long I'll have access for, so that's why it's a big caveat. It's not available to everyone. The other interesting phenomena that comes out of this is Microsoft Azure is attracting the big customers, the ones that are spending millions, tens of millions of dollars on OpenAI. And as a result, Microsoft Azure tends to get the cool new features first, gets to polish it off before OpenAI offers it to their kind of smaller, simpler customers. Anyways, let's talk about what bring your own data actually means. If you think about ChatGPT, you're talking to a chatbot. GPT-4 essentially is the same thing. You're asking an AI to respond to you. It's crawled through billions of documents over the internet, but it may not know specifically what you want it to know. So think of business for a moment. You're creating a chatbot for your own web page, and it's talking about your product, some tech gadget. ChatGPT might even know about your tech gadget just by browsing the internet, but its information is going to be pretty superficial. It's not going to see much more than what's on your main web page, and that's it. But if you're able to upload your manual, your FAQs, your documentation, other pieces in there, ChatGPT could theoretically respond much more knowledgeably about questions. How do I fix this error? What does it mean when a green light blinks twice? Something along those lines. So you can imagine lots and lots of use cases here if you can directly provide the documents it should be looking at. Very, very useful. For those of you who've been in the game for a little while, OpenAI used to offer something similar called fine-tuning. This was pre-GPT 3.5, and it's since disappeared. You have GPT at the base of your model, but fine-tuning puts a little layer on top that's a model trained on your documents. I think what Azure is doing is just providing that service in a very manageable way. So for example, over here, you might not be able to read very well, but one option is for you to just upload files. So you don't need to fiddle with training, APIs. They're making it even easier for you. One last little feature before we get to trying it out is that it actually cites your document. So when it responds, it will tell you which document it came from. So what happens if my device blinks red twice? It will say it means that you ran out of batteries, and I got it out of manual 1. Here's the file. I think that could be useful. You could drop it off, I suspect, but we'll try it out very soon. So, let's go back here, home. When you get access to Azure OpenAI, you're going to need to go to Azure portal, set up, and create an instance. And it's a bit of work to get this all done. So I skipped through that because I don't think you need to see it. It's painful. But it is straightforward. When you get in there, you of course can use an API to engage with this, but the playground is nice and easy, visual. I just want to see how well this works. Now, when you get into a chat playground, you have, just like ChatGPT, like a chatbot that you can respond to. You can pick the model. I've chosen GPT 3.5. You have to request access to GPT-4 separately. And of course, you have parameters that should look fairly familiar to anyone that used OpenAI's playground, their internal playground. So we could start chatting. We have no data source right now, but if we add data source, we have a couple different options here. I don't know what Azure Cognitive Search is. I had to just open one just now, but I think the two that make the most sense is upload files and Azure Blob Storage. Now, upload files, I had some issues. That's good. I had some issues uploading the files for some reason, and it might just be this CORS that didn't show up the last time. So that's helpful, but in the meantime, I decided to upload it through Azure Blob Storage. That's almost like a Dropbox or a OneDrive service offered through Microsoft Azure. And so I'm just going to find the right containers. The other thing is that you need to open up. So a blob storage is practically free. It costs pennies. You might even have a free tier because hopefully you're not putting gigs and gigs of files in here. But Azure Cognitive Search is actually quite expensive. I tried to use the free tier. It's far more limited, but apparently it won't support the free tier. So I switched to a paid tier that's going to cost an estimated $95 a month. So pretty pricey. I'm going to delete it right after my tests. Hopefully keep the cost under $10 or so. And now we're supposed to give it an index name, so I'll call it Chat Playground so I know what's happening. Now, before all this started, I uploaded a lot of files into my blob storage here. So you'll see that these are legal documents, affidavits. These are all templates, by the way. Nothing sensitive in here, but this is a template for an affidavit of personal service. And then, there's letters and so on. So lots and lots of templates. And I'm just going to go next. So we'll save and close. And my data is being added. So this might take a little while. Let me just take a look and see where I can find it. Okay, over here. You can put a variety of different file formats. Of course, this is all text-based, so you're wasting your time if you're putting MP3s or videos in there, but they cover the major ones. Word files, Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, PDF, text, Markdown, HTML. I think it covers all of the major ones. For most businesses, I imagine Word files and PDFs are going to be predominantly what you're uploading in there. HTML, maybe if you start scraping websites, and of course, if you're a programmer and you're grabbing text off the internet, text files, very, very helpful. This might take a little bit longer, so I am just going to cut this video off here and continue once it's done. And we're back. It really only took, I think, maybe 5 minutes in total. And I have like 2,000 documents, albeit, I think in total it was under 100 megabytes, but still lots of text for it to go through. Anyways, this is really interesting. You can limit the responses to your data content only. So it's only talking about what you've uploaded, or you can remove that. I wonder what. why it would clear the chat, but I wonder if we take it off, it can incorporate other elements. But I think limiting the responses to your data content is probably the most valuable aspect here. So in this case, let me just see what kind of files I have. I wanted it to write, let's see. You know what? Let me scroll up and down here. That way you can see what I'm scrolling through. Let's write a letter to the Canada Revenue Agency requesting a record search for customs duties. Okay, can you draft a letter to the Canada Revenue Agency regarding a, what did we say? Record search for customs duties. A records search for duties for customs. Let's keep it pretty simple here. And let's see. Did I put some max tokens here? Max response, okay. So it found the right document for sure. Please note this is just a template you may need to modify. And I am going to take a look here and see. Well, it's interesting it mentioned this. Let's try this one more time. I'm going to clear chat and ask it again. Maybe this is too long. Okay. Let's clear chat. Try one more time here. So it did the same thing. It fetched the right one. Let's rephrase this. I need to write a letter to CRA about a records search. It is for customs duties. Interesting. Okay, so it went for the same one. It answered the question. So it's not really giving me the template. Can you write the template out in this chat? And here we go. Again, let's compare it to what it is here. Interesting that they skipped the address here. Please advise us whether the company. It's quite different from the template, the plain template. It's much more casual. Doesn't have like dates when we need it. Please advise us whether. So quite different and a bit disappointing, but at least it's linking along the way to the actual document. So let's try another one here. I'm just running here. I need to write a notice of application, and I want a sample template for the conduct of sale. Interesting. So it couldn't find it even though we should have it in that list. Okay, one more. Can you find me a template for an agreement to modify a commercial lease? Beautiful. Perfect. So I think this might be a really good way to actually build a library and search through it. Let me see if I can ask a specific question. You know what? What is the address for Canada Revenue Agency? So this is a fact-based question here. And so it found it from one of the templates. Let me see where it's coming from. Let's see if this is even accurate. So good old Google. Canada Revenue Agency, very good. I think that's pretty good. You give me the definition of additional minimum rent. Give me a sample definition. This is really good, actually. It's pulling data out of, I don't know, it must be thousands and thousands of pages and grabbing the right text to come through. It's able to find addresses, it's able to find the right documents in this trove. So again, I have 2,000 documents, many pages of legalese, and it's pulling out all the right stuff. So quite impressive. All right, last one. Okay, give me a sample header for a custom director's resolution. And then over here, it just gave me a sample. This does not look right, though. Notice of annual general meeting. That doesn't seem right. Try another one. Interesting. I think what it's struggling with is the custom aspect of the director's resolution. I need to write a director's resolution. Please help. Here we go. Here's one. Not the one I would have picked as a sample, but at least it is one. Okay, well, all in all, I'm pretty impressed. The one thing that gives me pause is that it does keep going back to the document. So it's saying, I found a document, here it is, rather than pulling data out of that document when it can. So, for example, I asked it for a sample header. It could have just responded with, the first couple, the header of that document, but instead it's saying, here, go look in this document, which may or may not be good. For my purposes, this is fantastic. I have clean templates that I can go through, very useful. But for other use cases, like when we're talking about products, how helpful is it if it just says your answer is in this manual? It's probably not terrible, but it's not helpful either. A good chatbot would just give you the answer, would read through the manual and give you the answer, rather than say, look, it's in this manual out of your stack of documents. So all in all, I'm having a lot of ideas here of how to use this. It's very interesting. It's very interesting for us to play around with. I hope this was interesting to you too. I don't see a whole lot of people showing Azure OpenAI. This is an interesting demo, I'm sure, and we may go through other pieces, but it is very similar to OpenAI, just a couple cool features like this one. So I will see you all next week for another project. Thanks for watching.